But this will trigger the Lexus RCF safety car.
Oh, that's big. That is a very big crash.
Perth, so
Ross, happy birthday for earlier in the week, 260th. Congratulations.
Massive crash. Sorry, we're going to have to come back to you there.
That's Scott Pye.
That's a massive crash. It's gone straight ahead at turn 2.
Explosion or a hydraulic problem. And this is going to be a shot now. You see straight ahead. Hasn't retarded at all. And bang in. That's as heavy front impact as we've seen for
Old Commodore. Nose first. Flips right up.
Conville down into turn 11. Have a look. He had a brake pedal box failure, so it was a brake pedal failure. It had all rear brake, just locked the rears. This is turn 11 very fast. And we've also got some Tiga onboard vision. This is it now. And heavy contact.
The young tyres back on.
Oh, he's off. He was out of control for about 150 metres in that zone, especially in the last 50 metres where he couldn't find the centre of the steering wheel, and he was going to centre punch Garth Tander.
But that was a while.
Big brake drummers, pedal to the floor, mate.
Okay, so
pedal to the floor.
The Drinks Bottle Racing Ford Falcon, David Reynolds on screen here. Top gear and off the road goes Heimgartner, and this is down at turn 9.
Please repeat, I know you've gone off. Got no brakes, had no brake. Oh.
And Jack Perkins involved. Whoa. So he's actually clobbered the cone marker. Oh, Jack had absolutely nowhere to go. The cone marker at turn 6. And Heimgartner, I reckon something's happened a bit earlier in the game here. So he's to the left of the curbing there. And we heard him say no brakes. And look at Jack. He'd be just wondering what on earth he's done wrong today to Koppel. Back at Mount Panorama, we've got a red flag in practice 6, and here's the reason why. Warren Luff driving Garth Tander's number 2 Holden Racing Team Commodore, unable to stop. Smashes into the back of Craig Lowndes' Red Bull, terribly second hand. The question is why? Now, there appeared to be a huge amount of rear brake on Warren Luff's car, and it just wasn't arresting the speed. On the radio, he said no brakes, no brakes. Larko?
Yeah, well, I can't really add to it at this stage, mate. A lot of...
Welcome back. Well, the bad day has just got even worse for Will Davison. Big damage. Had no brake coming through the chase.
He's been describing a car that's been really unbalanced for a while, and he's had a massive moment here, and there's bits hanging out underneath it. It's had some sort of severe failure based in their mouths down there because they had such an amazing day yesterday. And how's this?
Oh, my God, that is so fast.
Fabian Coulthard was the one in the Lockwood car.
That is... Oh, and it finally hit the fence. That is amazing. He's had to lose here. This is gone now.
Feeding gears. Lucky it didn't roll.
Listen.
Oh, it hasn't stopped. It hasn't got any front brake. It's locked the rears, so we've seen this over the years.
Oh, that's
so it's gone in hard.
That is a big one, Neil. That
Pro Drive Racing Australia battle that Mark's talking about. I'm not exactly sure, but
Whoa!
this is a big failure there.
That's a big hit, Jack. That's an enormous hit to Lee Holdsworth, who had no idea Nick Percat was coming at undiminished velocity across the Rolex sign at the inside of turn 1, and he was speaking about braking.
I think
there was none of it going on there.
That's either a brake failure or a stuck throttle. Nick did his absolute very best to miss drilling the back of Todd Kelly. He's gone across the inside of the tyre bundle, backed his car into the rear of Lee Holdsworth.
This was a case of, well, I either hit Todd Kelly or I bail out of that and try and avoid and get lucky and avoid everyone. And Holdsworth copped the brunt of that in the right rear corner of the Preston Hire Commodore.
Oh, that's big. That is a very big crash.
It's, Scott Pye's gone in heavily in the Dick Johnson racing car. It's clearly going to red flag the session.
That is a big crash. That looks to me like a brake failure. That is either an exploded front brake rotor or a complete hydraulic failure of the brakes to be down there so far.
Hey boys, I just saw before, it was probably a few minutes ago though, they changed the rear discs on Scott Pye's car.
A fast approach to that braking zone, and it has whistled off at a huge rate of knots down here.
It's hardly
Luckily
slowed.
it's gone to that tyre barrier, because not far left of that, clearly there's a concrete wall, so that is a frightening scene.
And we very rarely see what looks like a complete brake failure in that zone. And as Greg Murphy reported before, you can see there over the top of Van Gisbergen's car, you can see that car just disappearing off there in the tyre wall. So great job.
Doing some panel rubbing as well, and Scott McLaughlin's at the front of it, but this is Dean Fiore. And he is parked with big damage. We'll show you. Looking out the rear of Dean Fiore, here comes Blanchard. He can't stop.
That's actually a brake failure. Something has happened there. There is no way